Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Sami here. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto Awakens the Tenseigan Dojutsu, Part 2. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel, and like this video. So let's get into the video. The evening of the bell test. Here he'll live, said the ex and current, as some of the Hokage's sources were to be believed leader of Root, stepping into the office. I needed to talk to you. Of course you do. Sarutobi sighed. Any particular subject, or would you simply like to catch up? Actually, I thought I might discuss the genin teams that have been formed most recently, said Danzo, taking a chair in front of the desk. More specifically, Team 7. What of it? Asked the third, inwardly groaning. How were its members selected? Danzo asked, innocently. Hiruzen shrugged. It's traditional for the best boy, best girl, and worst overall in the year to be put on a team together. Both Hinata and Sasuke are very skilled, and, as Naruto technically failed the examination. I see. Danzo replied. If you put, oh I don't know, Haruno Sakura and Kakashi, I might have believed that. But no, you put the young male heir to the Uchiha, the one remaining Hyuga, and the damn Nine Tails on the same team under your best, and most loyal Jonin. Hiruzen nodded. Actually, in hindsight, I suppose that would be he quoted a term from his grandson, pretty darn overpowered. Hiruzen, would you care to tell me if there's any reason in particular you're trying to recreate the legendary? I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about. Sarutobi. Don't Sarutobi me. The third snapped, eyes hard. You lost that right when you tried to put one of your spies in my school. Sai, was it? If he even has a real name. How young are you grooming your soldiers now? I could ask you the same. Danzo returned. We both know something's coming. You could use my help. The last time I requested your help, I ruined 2 lives, and lost 200 more. Hiruzen replied. I have learned not to make that mistake again. Danzo glared at him for a good few more seconds. Then I shall act alone. As I always have. He turned, and walked out the door. Sarutobi waited a few seconds, then slammed a fist into his desk, sufficient to splinter the wood. He heaved himself out of his seat, and walked over to the unconscious Anbu, kneeling down beside the androgynous ninja beneath a boar mask. He slapped them round the face. What hit me, they mumbled, before jolting to alertness. Hokage-sama. They shouted, getting up. What? Make sure the rest of my guard is awake. He growled. Then get me Kakashi. It's time for a wake-up call. 3 years before. Big brother. Big brother. Itachi groaned, and cracked open one eye, barely controlling the urge to awaken his Sharingan, and the fool who woke him. He shifted under the covers, and propped his head on one arm. Sasuke. What are you doing? It's 6 o'clock. You promised you'd show me how to do the multi-kunai throwing. Pouted the 9-year-old. Itachi scowled. I know you act more mature than this at school, brother. You said that any morning you weren't on a mission you'd help me with training. Sasuke stated, as though Itachi was trying to deny an immutable law of the universe. I just got back from a mission. The elder protested, weakly. Then you were back. The younger one pointed out, logically. So, come on. Itachi groaned again, and pulled himself out of bed. Never mind that said mission had necessitated 38 hours of continued consciousness, and he'd only flopped into bed an hour ago. He had promised Sasuke training, so there was training to be done. Present day. Sasuke groaned, and opened one eye, trying desperately to awaken his damn Sharingan already, so he could be the fool who woke him. Itachi. He mumbled. I appreciate the dedication, I do, but I have a Jounin sensei now. You don't have to keep. He placed the identity of the person by his side, and trailed off. Yo? Said Kakashi. Sasuke let out a scream that was entirely undignified for the heir to the great Uchiha clan, and leapt to his feet, pulling the kunai from under his pillow, and pointing it at the transgressor. You. What are you doing here? You're late. Kakashi said, smiling under his mask. I'm late. Sasuke hissed, looking to his door hoping he hadn't woken anyone. What the fuck were you yesterday? Again with the potty mouth. Kakashi scolded. Did you get that from Itachi? Yeah. Sasuke growled. What the hell are you doing in my room? We have training, which you were late to. How rude of you. You didn't tell me when it was. Or where, for that matter. You can't get a haircut by making excuses. But, as I am a gracious sensei, I decided to come get you. Sasuke was incredulous. So you broke into my house. Hardly a drastic measure for a ninja. Besides, nobody caught me. Can you two be more quiet in there? Itachi's voice came through the wall. Some of us are trying to sleep. Alright, one person caught me. Kakashi relented, grudgingly. But since I'm still alive, I think that's enough proof that he agrees with my intentions. Now get dressed. You'll have to work extra hard to make up for your laziness. Shaking his head, Sasuke left the comfort of his bed, and walked towards his closet. Yesterday you couldn't be present for 10, how come now you're starting training at 6? It was supposed to be 5, actually. Kakashi replied. And it's not me doing your training. What? Shut up, and get out of the closet, Sasuke. Elsewhere, at the same time, Naruto blinked, and opened his eyes. Oh. Hey. He mumbled. Kakashi, leaning over him, tilted his head. That's your reaction. You're not at all worried that a ninja is in your apartment, standing over you while you sleep. Naruto shrugged. I have Anbu in her near my room basically every night. At first it was confusing, but when I learned I was a kid it started to make sense. I'm used to it by this point. Well, that's a habit, to kick Kakashi's side. Get out of bed, Whiskers. We have training to do. I already have a shadow clone at Sasuke's place. Naruto frowned, sitting up and rubbing his eyes. Not Hinata's. Oh, I wouldn't be worried. She's outside your window right now. Training ground 14, you have 20 minutes. Kakashi disappeared in a flurry of leaves. Naruto got to his feet and stretched, sparing a look around his apartment building to check Kakashi hadn't done anything to it. The empty ramen packets were still piled up beside his bin, and the kitchen was still a mess. So they certainly hadn't been cleaning up before walking over to the window. Sure enough, when he looked out and down, there was a girl with blue hair in the alleyway looking incredibly guilty. Hinata. What are you doing down there? The Hyuga was poking her index fingers together and focusing intently on the floor. I came to see you. Kakashi woke me up too, and you live nearby, so. Naruto shrugged. Oh, cool, thanks. Had Naruto paid more attention in certain classes, he might have known that training ground 14 was actually between the Hyuga compound and his apartment. But he didn't. I'll get dressed and come down in a sec, then we can go together, okay? He called out, instead. Her face went red, and her Byakugan very definitely turned off, but she nodded. A little confused, Naruto went back inside. 18 minutes later. The four got together in the woods. Training ground 14 was apparently just a massive open space, but Kakashi, looking furtively through the entrance, had prevented them from entering, and hid them amongst the leaves just outside the area. So, I'm sure you're all wondering what you're doing here. Kakashi began. Yeah, and why it's so early. Sasuke grouched. Yeah, and why we're all hiding in a bush. Naruto added. Well, that's very simple. Kakashi replied. You see, I was planning on taking it easy, letting you play around with D ranks, maybe teaching you tree walking. Wasting our time. Hinata cut in. Precisely. Kakashi agreed, before his expression, at least what could be seen, took on a much more serious edge. I know full well what it's like to lose your childhood to this profession, and didn't want to force that onto you. He brightened again. Until our dear Hokage called me in, and reminded me we don't really have time for that, as you're all likely to get assassinated or kidnapped at any point. What? He was met by 3 outraged children's expressions. He pointed at Sasuke, the youngest member of a prominent blood release clan, and swung the finger around to Hinata. You're the only member of a prominent blood release clan, and have in fact already been kidnapped once, around to Naruto, and I can't tell these two about your little secret, but every adult from Konoha, plus everyone important everywhere else, knows all about it. Naruto gulped. Everyone. There's a file in the Hokage's desk detailing all the attacks on you Anbu has foiled. Kakashi elaborated. It is a thick file. Naruto went a little pale. Sasuke looked like his brother had already told him more than he should have been told about the blonde, and Hinata looked downright murderous. The solution to this is to become strong enough to fend off said hostiles, as quickly as possible. Kakashi continued. Which I was feeling pretty bad about, until I realized that you've all barely had childhoods anyway. For the same reasons we just went through, conveniently. I had a Sasuke pause. I mean it wasn't a normal childhood, but. When was the last time your dad said he was proud of you? Naruto cut in. Sasuke actually blushed. How would I know? It's not like I keep running. He knows exactly what date it was, how long it's been to the day. Shut up. Anyway, Kakashi interrupted before they could jump each other again. He sighed. This is why I made my tests so hard, it's like herding cats with you people, which is precisely the problem. I can't manhandle you through stringent ninja training. Sure, in the other hidden villages you'd have your sense of hope and free will broken, then be forced into obedience, but we can't do that in Konoha, because something will fire. He looked over them all. No. I've been ordered to work you hard, but you'd have to put that effort in yourselves. You all gave me your aspirations for the future. How far are you willing to go to achieve those goals? I'd do anything. Hinata spoke up, even before Naruto could break into a speech. Nothing can stand in my way. Working ridiculous hours. Kakashi probed. Intense pain. Training methods that could be defined as cruel and unusual punishment. Anything. Hinata insisted. Kakashi turned to the pair of boys. That go the same for you too. Both nodded, determination in their eyes. Great. Kakashi beamed. Then let's get started. He pushed through the foliage and walked onto the training ground proper. As Team 7 followed him, they noticed that the ground was already occupied by another Genin team, as well as a more senior ninja wearing a questionable outfit. Hey guy. Kakashi called out. Mind if we talk for a few minutes? As the two walked away, Guy's hand around Kakashi's shoulders, their respective teams were left alone with each other. It could have been a standoff, but only the girl actually approached them, with one of the boys, looking like a miniature clone of Guy, doing push-ups in the background. The other, a pale child, simply sat and watched the proceedings. "You're one of the new teams, right?" said the girl, stuffing her hands into her pockets. "Name's Tenten. What's brought you to our neck of the woods?" "Damn right," said Naruto, immensely proud. "We're Team 7. I'm Naruto, this is Sasuke, and Hinata. We don't actually know why we're here." Kakashi did go into a long spiel about training beforehand though. Sasuke supplied. Tenten shuddered. "You poor souls, get out while you still can." "What?" "Nothing," Tenten replied, breezily. She gestured to her companions. "The one in the eyesore of a jumpsuit is Rock Lee. He's certainly something. And our third teammate is Sai. Good ninja, great painter, but less than perfect at socializing." Upon hearing his name, the pale boy looked up and gave a vacant smile. "Hello," he said. "Demon, orphan, haircut. It's nice to meet you." Team 7 collectively blinked. Tenten sighed and turned back to her teammate. "Sai, we talked about this. Don't nickname people immediately after meeting them, and don't give them nicknames that are so negative." Sai tilted his head. "But you nickname us offensive things all the time. Just this morning you called Lee a masochistic piece of shy." "Insults, Sai, you confusing nicknames with insults." She face-palmed and turned back to Team 7. "Well, it's good to see we are the only dysfunctional genin trio in the leaf." Sasuke casually dropped. "I don't know what you mean," said Hinata, deadpan. "You wouldn't." Sasuke sighed, after realizing she was being serious. "Yes, Sasuke, what do you mean dysfunctional?" Naruto added, visibly confused. The Uchiha looked up to Tenten. "Please help," he mumbled. The girl put her hand on his shoulder, reassuringly. "I wish I could, fellow sane person. I wish I could." "Yes." A shout came from Kakashi's direction. "I accept your challenge, Kakashi." There was a blur, and Guy slid to a stop in front of the trio. "Your sensei has always been a tenacious one, Genin," he said, eyes closed. "But now he has gone too far, and will finally be defeated." "What did he do?" asked Tenten, apparently used to such dramatic displays. "Hada Kakashi has set me a challenge," Guy explained. "He believes that I will be unable to continue my usual training regime, while also bolstering his own team physically." And his eyes snapped open. "We'll prove him wrong." The sun glinted dramatically off his teeth and eyes. There was a pause. "Do you make bets like this with Kakashi very often?" asked Hinata. "Your sensei has been my rival for years, young ninja," Guy affirmed. "What happens to Kakashi if he loses?" Hinata asked, curiously. "Absolutely nothing," Guy exclaimed. "Now come on. I have you every weekday from 5 until 8, and I do not intend to waste any of it." Sasuke blew out a breath. "Okay, 3 hours a day. This doesn't sound too much more stringent than what I do usually." "Get moving, ninja," Guy called. "After we do some stretches, we'll get started on some aerobic work. I of course understand that you are all unused to my training methods, so we will begin with only 3 laps around the hidden village. Show me the fires of your youth." "He's joking, right?" Sasuke asked, looking at Tenten. She shook her head, sadly. "I'm so sorry. You're either going to become total beasts or you're going to die." 3 very exhausted genin fell to the floor in front of Kakashi. "He's a monster," Naruto gasped. "They've done remarkably well, Kakashi," Guy said from behind them, barely sweating. "I look forward to training with them tomorrow." "That was hell, and we were late. Do you want us to do an extra hour on top of that? Every day?" Sasuke exclaimed. "If all goes to plan, I will be able to up your training to 5 hours after about a week," Guy added, beaming, and jogged back to his team. "I'm this close to giving up on vengeance," Hinata mumbled. "This close. You asked for it," Kakashi told them. "No take-backs. Now please lie still for a moment, I need to draw a seal on you all." "A seal?" Naruto asked, naturally worried about such things. "What seal?" "A training seal," Kakashi explained, twirling a paintbrush in his hands. "Guy and Lee use weights, but that's not very elegant, and tends to be pretty uneven in how it builds your muscle groups up. This, on the other hand, adds resistance every time you try to move, everywhere, like going through water. It also uses your own chakra to produce this effect, so it helps build up those reserves, as well as your muscles." "Wait, I've heard of this." Sasuke had recovered enough to be breathing normally. "Itachi told me about it. Don't they use it to train Anbu?" "Because I'm pretty sure it's classed as a because of the possibilities for muscle damage and..." "You'll be fine," Kakashi interrupted. "It has different levels of resistance. I'll leave you on level 1 rather than 3, which is what the Anbu generally uses, and is like swimming through mud." "You're speaking from experience," Hinata perceived. Kakashi nodded. "I was a dog. And due to experience, I will not force you to use it while training with Guy, because that would be a terrible mistake." He trailed off, looking into the distance, before shuddering. "Anyway, get your tops off, I'll need to see your bare backs." "Pervert. Weirdo." What are you reading in those orange books? Now, save your strength. Kakashi replied. When I'm done, my shadow clone is going to go through all the different categories with you to get a better idea of your capabilities. Then over lunch, we'll talk through mixed unit tactics and other important theory. Then we'll move on to that tree walking we talked about then. I've changed my mind. Naruto looked numb. Guy's fine. You're a monster. Greaseball 1 is Fox 1, please report. Naruto, what are you? Codenames, Greaseball. Naruto heard a sigh through the speaker. Greaseball 1 to Fox 1, where exactly did you get this radio system? That's simple, Greaseball. Naruto replied. I took my frog purse with all our D-rank pay to the fancy electronics store. And then I stole the radios from Anbu headquarters. For fuck's sake, Naruto. Fox 1 to Bat 1, do we have eyes on the target? This is Bat 1 to Fox 1, at least Hinata was getting into things. The target is approximately 40 meters southwest of your position. Excellent. That's. Make a quarter turn left from your current heading. Greaseball 1 supplied. No, left, Naruto, you aren't this stupid. 3 figures darted across Konoha's rooftops. Their feet made nary a sound, their forms were blurs against the weak early morning light. Their prey never saw them coming. Stealthy as, well, ninja, they converged in a dark alleyway, pinning their target against the wall. He looked back at the three, and hissed. And so began a cacophony of shouts, bangs, and meows. Many years before, an 8-year-old Neji Hyuga didn't look up as the door opened. Why would he? The view outside was prettier anyway. And he committed years ago to leaving his Byakugan on at all waking hours. He watched the sky while his 360 vision watched the man entering the room. Neji? Said the teacher, quietly. Yes, sensei. Neji acknowledged. I've come to discuss your unique situation. The teacher was off-put, as usual, by Neji's demeanor. In which you restrict my progress. Neji requested confirmation. Yes. Said the teacher, nervously. As a matter of fact, I have a solution. Does it have to do with Uchiha waiting outside? Neji asked. He wished the man would get to the point. Yes, Neji. Itachi, would you come in here? Neji turned then to get a proper look at the boy who walked in. He knew Itachi. Everyone knew Itachi. In fact, Neji had always wanted to meet him, they seemed to have a lot in common. Both the same age, both wielders of both genius sons of a powerful clan. But while Itachi was the heir to the Uchiha's leader, Neji was the son of the leader's younger brother. A branch family member. Suffice to say, one boy was not as well known as the other. Neji stared at him. Hello. Hello. Itachi stared back. Itachi's team has come upon some unexpected changes. The teacher explained. He needs a new teammate. And you need a team. What happened? Neji asked Itachi. We were ambushed. Itachi responded. My team is dead. Exams are in 2 months, and there are no vacancies on other teams for me. Neji looked him up and down. You're right. As are you. Do you think you will pass? No? Neji knew it wasn't the pass part Itachi was denying. Do you know you will? Yes. The Hyuga tilted his head. Do you believe in fate, Uchiha Itachi? No. I believe in myself. Itachi responded. Neji focused on the teacher, who was standing in an incredibly awkward manner. Do you have a third teammate for us? No. The man said. You would have to function as a 2-man team. Neji looked back at Itachi and smiled. I'm confident we'll manage. Present day, at the Hokage's office. That was a dot, Naruto groused, sucking the cuts on his fingers. And they call me Demon. If that cat didn't run away and give Genin missions on a bi-weekly basis, I'd have scratched it back. Harder. Hinata looked up, concerned. Did it hurt you, Naruto? He grinned back at her. Nah, I'm a ninja. I'm not going to get taken down by a cat with an attitude problem. Given some Inizuka I've seen, that might not be quite true. Chuckled the Hokage, smiling benignly at the three. I have in fact heard what I'm sure are baseless rumors about where Daimyo's wife purchased her. In any case, congratulations on your 10th successful D-rank mission. I trust you aren't finding them too difficult. Sasuke's incredulous D-ranks. Difficult. Was overlaid atop Naruto's. Any morning we don't spend with Guy is an easy morning. Hinata nodded her own approval. The third looked up. Kakashi. Their sensei was leaning against the corner of the room. They're ready, Gramps. He agreed. And they've been pestering me about getting a C rank since day 3. Do you believe it will be good for them? The Hokage asked. I believe they're going to get cabin fever if they don't get out soon. Konoha starts to look pretty small at their age. Hiruzen nodded slowly. Very well. I believe I have just the thing. Naruto's eyes sparkled. We're getting a C rank. The third nodded. There is a bridge builder named Tazuna, who requires an escort to the Land of Wave, a small island near to our shores only accessible by boat, though I believe he intends to change that. Your job is to travel with him, protect him from any threats, and guard him while he completes his construction work. With Kakashi to protect you, there shouldn't be anything you can't handle. Not that I doubt your progress, of course. Woo? Naruto jumped up and cheered. Actual ninja mission. Sasuke, are you excited? I guess. He shrugged. Hinata. I am Naruto. Oh god, weeks in the wilderness with Naruto, yes. Kakashi, actually, never mind. When do we start? The third squinted down at his papers. Let's see, yes, you have 35 minutes. After a few seconds of silence, the three genin sprinted out the door, leaving a smiling Hokage in their wake. They met Tazuna at the gates to Konoha. He was about what they had expected. Great. Children. The elderly man growled, taking a swig from a flask of alcohol. I request ninja, and I get toddlers. Hinata's eyes flashed. How dare he insult Naruto? You stand in the presence of a member of the Hyuga clan and her teammates. Show some respect, commoner. Tazuna looked down at her, noticing her eyes. A Hyuga, huh? I suppose you're not so useless. And I am the heir of the Uchiha. Sasuke said, beside her, not one to be outdone. Same sentiment. Tazuna looked down at him. Really? Aren't you supposed to have red eyes? Sasuke blinked. I haven't unlocked my Sharingan yet. Tazuna rolled his eyes. Sure, you haven't. Are you doubting my lineage? Tazuna shrugged. What's there to doubt? You son of a... Now, Sasuke. Kakashi put a hand on his shoulder. Please do not swear at, nor murder our client. He looked up to Tazuna. And I assure you, my genin is quite sufficient for your needs, and better than what you deserve for your pay. After all, it's not like we'll be up against ninjas. Right? Of course we won't, said Tazuna, not looking confident at all. The demon brothers waited. The hat that hid them in bodies of water was holding, and had for the past 2 hours. Patience was an important tool for a ninja, especially when setting up ambushes or scouting targets. Patience was a virtue, and they had it in spades. It was a virtue the genin walking up the road towards them did not appear to share. They veritably skipped around their sensei and their charge, not paying any attention at all to their surroundings. The aforementioned sensei would be more of a problem, but even he didn't look to have caught on to their presence. No matter how skilled he was in combat, he was still human. A knife to the head would kill just as easily as a civilian. The two missing nin decided in sync that the left one should make the first row, and he palmed a kunai. That was when the group of 4 was obliterated in a fireball. Both brothers immediately leapt out of their respective puddles, and dove sideways, hurling themselves to either side of the road. The hurry to escape the massive ball of death meant they weren't able to set up their spike chain, leaving them separated with nothing but their gauntlets. That was when they jumped. The boy with black hair landed on the left brother's back and straightened his legs, slamming the man's body into the floor and probably breaking a few ribs. The girl with blue hair landed beneath the right brother in a split and struck out at his knee with a palm. That leg went numb, and the girl straightened as he fell and struck out once towards his temple. He fell unconscious immediately. Yeah, that's fine, said a boy with blonde hair, approaching from further down the road with his sensei, an escortee. I'll just use my shadow clones as the diversion again. That was impressive. Tazuna allowed, as the group stopped to tie up the attackers. How did you manage to detect them? My Byakugan could see their chakra from well over 50 meters away. Hinata replied. Not to mention they were hidden in 2 puddles when it hadn't rained in weeks. Really? Said Naruto. That's awesome, Hinata. She blushed. Did you see that great fireball? Sasuke chipped in, casually. That was the signature technique of the Uchiha clan, right there. Tazuna shrugged. Don't you live in the land of fire? I doubt it's exclusive. You refuse to believe I'm from a great ninja family, don't you? Tazuna HMM''D, then shook his head. Alright, that should do it. Kakashi spoke up. He tightened one last rope, then straightened, putting his hands together and muttering a shadow clone dot. An identical copy appeared next to him and, without preamble, picked up the 2 hostages. Where did that come from? Tazuna asked, still unused to the concept of ninjutsu. Is it real? What's it doing? It's real enough to drop these 2 off back in the leaf and cash the bounties in. Kakashi replied. Hinata looked at him. Will it last that long? I gave it half my chakra, and it uses that up moving. It'll last about a month if I leave it, but it'll probably dissipate soon after getting back. Kakashi explained. Is it well programmed enough to do that? Hinata asked. It's not programmed, I think. Their sensei replied. It's pretty much a carbon copy of me, but it blows up when you hit it. That sounds useful, which explains why Naruto uses Hinata mold. Teach it to me. Maybe when we get to wave. Kakashi replied. Now then. He turned on Tazuna, glaring. Care to explain why we just got attacked by 2 infamous level missing nin? The bridge builder paled. What followed was a 10-minute explanation/tirade/pity bait about how some merchant lord was bankrupting his country and was sufficiently cross about Tazuna's attempts at freedom to send assassins after him. If I can't get this bridge finished, he concluded, we're doomed. We barely got any hope left. I can die, it doesn't matter. But if this bridge isn't built before... You're repeating yourself, Kakashi supplied. Everything will be horrible, and my grandkids will be depressed, and my dead family will go unavenged, and puppies will be kicked. which is why I had to lie about how dangerous it could be. I could barely afford you, as it is. Tazuna finished. Vengeance is important. Sasuke empathized. Hinata nodded, solemnly. Ha, said Kakashi. Those are very honorable reasons, and I applaud you. But you've dealt with us in good faith, and put my genin in danger, so standard procedure says we're going to have to ditch you. What? Kakashi turned. His 3 students were looking at him with outraged expressions. Am I to understand you disagree? We can't give up because of a challenge. Sasuke growled. This is my first real mission. I wouldn't go home and say it was a failure. I need to grow stronger. Hinata stated. This is a perfect opportunity to test my skills. Do any of you actually care about the sob story? Kakashi asked. Naruto tentatively raised his hand. They sighed. Really? You're all dead set on this. I, for one, am not abandoning the kickable puppies. Naruto admitted. Kakashi sighed again. I suppose, the fact that you finessed those 2 just now suggests they aren't really much stronger than what you'd expect for a mission like this. They cheered. Well, Naruto cheered, and the other 2 had self-satisfied looks on their faces. Alright. Hinata, take point. We've still got another 3 days to go before we reach the waves. If you're determined to risk your lives, let's limit how long it takes, shall we? Neji ate dinner with his family. A 2-man team? Asked Hisashi. So they continue to try and limit your progress. He is still 4 whole years ahead of normal graduation, darling, said Hisashi's wife, smiling. Who's your partner, sweetie? Neji breathed in. Itachi Uchiha. Hisashi frowned. I see. Do you work together well? We haven't had much opportunity to test it yet. However, I think we can get along. He seems reasonable. Reasonable isn't the word I would use to describe setting the 9 tails on the village. Hisashi murmured, darkly. Itachi was 5 when it happened. Neji pointed out. I doubt he had a hand in it. This might actually be a good thing, pointed out his mother. If he's being put together with Itachi, that must mean that the academy is taking him seriously. Hisashi nodded, thinking it through. That's the point. If you graduate to Chunin alongside or before Itachi, you will make waves amongst the ninja community. It will be hard for them to ignore you. Neji nodded. I appreciate the opportunity. Hisashi smiled at his son. Good. If you would like, could I step up your training? Neji shook his head. Sorry, father. I have been called into the main branch compound tonight. That ruined his father's mood. He absently scratched at the caged bird seal on his forehead. Oh, what does my dear brother want with you now? Perhaps to cripple you before you start. Hisashi. His wife swatted him. Neji shook his head. No, father. He blushed slightly. I'm babysitting Hinata this evening. I see. Itachi ate dinner with his family. A 2-man team? Asked Fugaku. They couldn't find 2 genin to put you with. There have been no other team losses since the last graduation. Itachi responded. And Neji is the only one ready to graduate right now. Neji Hyuga. Fugaku gaped. And you agreed to this? Of course. Itachi replied. I understand that he represents the best to come out of their family this generation. I have no reason to believe we will quarrel. No quarrel? Scoffed Fugaku. They're only our biggest rival in the village. Itachi kept silent. His father sighed and palmed his forehead. There is no other. Father, even if I waited until next graduation, Itachi said carefully, I doubt anyone else would be able to keep up with me. Well, I think having a friendly rival would be good for Itachi, said his mother, brusquely. I know he has Shisei, but if he's going to be on a team with someone else, then it's important to be on fighting terms with him. Or so I understand. Ninja children are ridiculous, I swear. Well, I suppose. Fugaku allowed. You will, of course, not allow him to beat you. Of course not. Itachi smiled. We start our first mission in a week. Do you think it's important to teach me before I go? Well, I could. Makoto snapped a finger up. If you're leaving in a week, then remember your other obligations, young man. Big brother's going away. A 3-year-old Sasuke blinked, looking up from his plastic plate. Itachi smiled at his younger brother. Not right now, Sasuke, don't worry. The boy smiled. They were a day out from the waves when Kakashi got killed. The only warning they got was a gasp from Hinata before there was a blur, and Kakashi had been cut in 2 by a massive meat cleaver of a broadsword. It then turned out that Kakashi was actually a log, and the real Kakashi jumped out launching a kunai at the sword's wielder. Said swordsman took the kunai right in the side of the head, before disintegrating into a pool of water. Then the real swordsman, who none of the genin could even discern features of, he was that fast, came, and bisected Kakashi again, only this time Kakashi popped, and vanished completely. The swordsman, evidently tired of this game, jumped up to land on the branch of a nearby tree. Mouth covered by bandages, he turned to stare imperiously down at them. The demon of the mist, said the real Kakashi, probably, appearing beside his students. Mamachi Zabuza. Or is it Zabuza Mamachi? I can never remember. Demon of the mist? Naruto asked. Like the demon brothers we just beat up. Is this, like, their dad? No relation, replied Zabuza in a gravelly voice. Though I'll thank you for putting them away, they were giving my moniker a bad rep. He focused on them, and everyone felt the killing intent. Sharingan Kakashi. I've always wanted to meet you. Sharingan? Sasuke asked, confused. Ordinarily I'd offer to let you surrender the civilian to me, Zabuza continued, ignoring the bridge builder's whimpering. But then you might agree, and rob me of the chance to fight you, and I can't have that at all. I will allow your children to run away, if they want. Hey kids. Kakashi said, not looking back. You want to run away like scaredy cats? Nope. Nah. No thank you, sensei. They're all fine, thanks. Kakashi told Zabuza. The missing nin chuckled. Have it your way. He put his hands together. Hiding in the mist. And the mist came in. That'll be from the, hidden mist village, huh? Naruto quipped, nervously. He looked to his left, and Kakashi was gone. He gulped, head turning, but he could barely see his palm in front of his face. Naruto. His arm was grabbed, and he jerked away on principle, before realizing it was Hinata who had taken hold of him. Veins bulged out from her eyes. I can see through it, she said. The Uchiha is with Tazuna, we need to move. She yanked, and Naruto followed. How can he find us in this? He asked. Kakashi's voice came out from the mist. He's a master of blind assassinations. He can track you by sound alone. That, at least, Naruto had a solution for. He grinned, and slapped his hands together. Shadow Clone the clearing was filled with almost a dozen Naruto. They all then began screaming. It can take a sunrise. Autoglass repair, autoglass replace. If you or your loved ones have been missile PPI. That should make things harder for him. Naruto grinned at Hinata, though he immediately grimaced. Okay, I just lost one. Let's make this snappy, huh? He could almost make out the blush on Hinata's cheeks, as she nodded, and pulled him forwards again. When they reached Tazuna, Sasuke had just thrown a kunai through the hole in Zabuza's sword, taking him in the face, but he simply dissolved into a puddle. Water clones. Sasuke spat. At least 2 more of them. Hinata's the only one who can fight, we need to get rid of this mist. Can you fire a great fireball? Naruto asked. Sasuke snorted. And evaporated the rest of the water. Try again. Okay, Naruto growled, performing another shadow clone to replenish the dwindling supply. Anyone know any wind? I might know something. Hinata spoke up. Everyone gets within a few meters of me. They acquiesced. She let out a breath, and focused, getting into a strange-looking stance. Then began to move her feet, as chakra was visibly expelled from all over her body. 8 trigrams, rotation. She called. The swirling blue dome of chakra surrounded her, and her companions, blowing away all the mist in her nearby vicinity. Unfortunately, it also blew away everyone in her immediate vicinity. With startled shouts, her 2 teammates and Tazuna were bodily picked up, and flung out the dome. Sasuke had the good sense to substitute with Tazuna mid-flight, so when a water clone swung at the man, it instead found itself overextended against a much smaller target. Sasuke dodged, and stabbed. Naruto grabbed Tazuna, who lacked all resistance at this point, and ran back to Hinata, who was preoccupied with her own water clone. I'm sorry, she was repeating, as she ducked under a massive sword swing. Naruto released Tazuna, and flung a kunai in the clone's general direction. Said clone, not as capable of thought as a shadow variant, brought his sword up to block the knife, and wasn't prepared for Hinata reaching up to his face. The chakra burst was powerful enough to blow the construct's head off. I'm sorry. Hinata finished, panting. I had to learn that technique from books, I didn't know it would. Hey, it's okay. Naruto reassured her. You got rid of the mist, at least. She had. Most of the fog had been dispelled to the corners of the clearing. Any more water clones? Naruto asked her. She shook her head. No. Just the original, over with though. They all looked across to the body of water Zabuza had been conjuring his form. Zabuza stood there, on the water's surface, with Kakashi held in a water prison. This is a little embarrassing. They sighed. Well, you're alive. Zabuza remarked. I'm impressed. Now if you just wait 2 seconds while I kill your sensei, I'll get right to you. Alright team. Naruto told his teammates. We need to get our sensei free. I think if we try, and do the thing we did against Kakashi, it might guys. Tazuna blinked at him. Sasuke and Hinata were already gone. Great Fireball yelled the former, aiming for Kakashi's water prison. 8 trigrams, 32 palms. Exclaimed the latter, beelining for Zabuza. The missing nin tch''d. Unable to stop both attacks with one hand occupied, he was forced to prioritize Hinata, and use his free hand to perform the seals for a simple water bullet. The projectile caught the jumping girl, sending her flying backwards, but the fireball still collided against Kakashi's prison. Water may do well against fire, but a good portion of the front of the barrier evaporated, letting Kakashi jump free. If the high temperature steam bothered him, he didn't show it. Well done, kiddies. He told them, lightly stepping onto the water's surface. Let me handle this next part. Handle me, will you? Zabuza chuckled darkly. What makes you think that will go better than it just did? Well said, Kakashi. He reached a hand up to his headband and lifted it, revealing a red iris with 3 comb-like dots in it. I guess you could say that I have an eye for such things. Sharingan Sasuke whispered to himself. What the fuck? What followed was genuinely creepy. Kakashi and Zabuza mirrored each other perfectly, going through a complex series of hand signs with identical rhythm, and calling out water dragons at the exact same time. But Kakashi's dragon rose from the lake first. It smashed through Zabuza's technique and collided with him, snapping the mist ninja up in its jaws and ramming him into a tree on the shore. He sank to his knees. Kakashi was in front of him in an instant, pulling a kunai. Any last words? Asked the copy ninja, lazily. Zabuza coughed. Sure. Tell the. Too slow. Kakashi brought his kunai up. That was when 2 needles hit Zabuza in the neck. He stiffened and collapsed. Was it you? Naruto asked, tentatively. Another ninja dropped down from the tree line. The genin took a step back. Thank you for your assistance, ninja of Konoha. It said, in an effeminate voice. The clothing it wore was unobtrusive, except for its white face mask that obscured all its features. 2 braids of hair fell over its shoulders. I was sent by Hidden Mist to retrieve the body of the traitor Zabuza. I trust you understand. We understand. Kakashi, evenly. We do. Checked a confused Naruto. Clan secrets. Hinata explained. If a Hyuga betrayed a leaf, Hunter-nin would be dispatched to make sure the secrets of the Byakugan weren't spread to other nations. She scowled. Of course, if a Hyuga escaped who was too powerful to be captured, we wouldn't bother. The Hunter-nin had shouldered the ex-Zabuza. I will ensure your village is sent an appropriate sum for your assistance. Farewell. It said, before jumping up into the trees. Hinata, who had been staring at the body the whole time, let out a gasp. Sensei. Stop them. She was too late, the masked ninja had vanished into the trees. What's wrong? Asked Kakashi. I can see his chakra. Hinata exclaimed. I thought it was just residue, but he's still alive, Sensei. A bird chirped in the distance. This time, it was Kakashi who swore. Wave was not a happy-looking place, and it was not a happy group that entered the village. Tazuna led the 4 ninja through dirty streets and alleys, past dilapidated houses, and downturned faces. All 4 of the visitors, not to mention their guide, were soaked from the mist and water techniques. The kids were all bruised from being flung around by Hinata's rotation technique, and Kakashi seemed exhausted, barely able to continue walking. Tazuna looked very much like he'd suffered worse hardships before. Eventually they came across a certain house that Tazuna walked up to, and he knocked twice on the door. It opened very slowly, and a face peeked through. Grandpa. The child rushed out and collided with Tazuna, crushing him in a hug. Hey there, Inami. The old man chuckled. Where's your mother, huh? She's inside. Inami replied, letting go, before noticing Team 7. Grandpa. Who are these people? They're here to help us, Inami. Tazuna's face turned grim. Now let's go inside. We and your mother have a lot to talk about. Dinner was a relatively simple affair. Despite Tazuna declaring it a feast in their honor for saving his life multiple times, the fare was minuscule, and Naruto barely had enough common decency not to complain about it. Tazuna had said they'd been hit hard by Gatu's blockade, but he hadn't realized it was this hard. So you fought demons? Inari's mother asked, not very familiar with ninja. Ninja calling themselves demons. Kakashi replied, somehow eating without removing his mask. Less horns, more swords. Well, I think it all sounds very impressive. The woman said. You think you'll be able to do it then? Keep Tazuna safe until the bridge is complete. Believe it. Naruto answered, grinning. Team 7 is the greatest genin team to come out of Konoha in years. Nothing Gatu can send is gonna stop us. You're wrong. Came a mumble. It was Inari. Nobody can beat Gatu. People have tried. They were all killed. Kid. Sasuke started, but Inari burst out. You're all crazy. People go out thinking they're heroes, and they all get killed. You're going to die too. Inari chastened his mother, but he'd already jumped down from the table and ran off into the house. The woman sighed. Sorry about him. He lost his father to Gatu's men, and he hasn't taken it well. She looked up to Tazuna. Are you really sure they can do this? I mean no offense, but we couldn't really afford Konoha's best. The little girl and the teacher are both from massively famous ninja clans. Tazuna explained. I'm confident. Kakashi's not from a famous clan. Sasuke interceded. I am. Really? Said Tazuna. Because it seems to me like he has the Sharingan, and you don't. Sasuke paused. Opened his mouth. Closed it. Turned to Kakashi. Are you going to correct him on this? Correct him on what? Kakashi replied, perfectly innocently. I think it's time you stop pretending to be famous, Sasuke. The clever builder clearly hasn't fallen for it. Sasuke's jaw hit the floor. He didn't speak for the rest of the meal. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time, till then sayonara.